Good morning, everybody. Just want to do a little review here before you get started on Module 3. I can't believe we're already 3 weeks into the semester. The field trip is this week, and I want to talk about it and the alternative assignment very briefly here. Number one, those of you who are going to the field trip, plan to be in Houston by 9:30. There will be donuts. Always bring donuts to the field trip. Sorry, the rest of you. I'd bring you a donut too, but Placer County's a long drive with a donut. But it doesn't mean we couldn't do lunch someday for everybody in Placer County, so think about that one if you'd like to. But anyway, those of you who are going on the field trip, plan to meet there. You will be given a list of questions that you will answer, and you can write the answers and ask the questions while you are meeting with David Tafoya. And let me just talk a little bit about what you're going to be seeing. We go to the Houston Family Resource Center because it is an excellent example of psychosocial rehabilitation at its best. It's a small town, Houston is, a little town in the south part of Stanislaus County. And what happened was somebody realized that there are very few services available to people in the small rural towns of this county. So they decided to organize, and they organized the community to open a resource center, which for a little community is a tough thing to do, but they did it anyway. And under the help of behavioral health to begin with, and then Sierra Vista, which is a private not-for-profit company that does an excellent job with a non-public school, with group home, with foster homes, with counseling services, and all kinds of other things that they offer. They decided to sponsor this organization also. So the director is a young, dynamic man with a master's in counseling, and he wasn't sure what he was getting himself into, but now that he's the director, he certainly is into it. But they took all the little towns, Denair, Keys, Empire, out in the middle of nowhere, places that people normally don't go, and there's no public transportation to get to it. And they decided to coordinate any services that people felt that they needed. And so that's what you see when you go there. Whatever you walk in the door with is what you're helped with. And that is what psychosocial rehabilitation is all about. It's what the individual needs, and then the task becomes helping that person find what's going to help them function. And one of the things that I like about what David does is he realized that there's a huge number of depressed women, which makes a lot of sense. You're isolated in little tiny towns with no transportation, and without a lot of community activities to give you something to do with your time. So one of the things that they did is they started a Zumba class, and the churches have been more than willing to do that. And some of these are churches that are really evangelical who never had dancing before. They don't do dancing in their church, but they opened their doors and allowed the Zumba to start. And now they have about 600 participants in all these little towns in Zumba. And it's interesting that depression is disappearing as opposed to appearing. And these women have organized, and they've gotten together, and they've started a computer group in one town. They've started a sewing group. They've started a cooking group. And so they've built a base for people to have friendships and activities and all kinds of things that have given them a chance to get out of their homes, be able to talk about what happens when you have children, and or have no one except just kind of yourself and maybe a television set. Anyway, it's remarkable. And that's what psychosocial rehabilitation does. Depression is the leading mental illness in this country. And if you don't believe it, just take a look at the headlines since we had Robin Williams' suicide about people talking about their depression, Secretary of State in California. Anyway, we see a tremendous change in the number of people suffering from depression since opportunities in South County have presented themselves for people to get out and feel like they're necessary, that they're part of something, that they belong. Anyway, that's why we go there. That's just one little thing, the Zumba. It's whatever the person enters the door with, that entering problem. And CPS includes all these people from Houston Family Resource Center in all the cases in South County of child abuse. And so we have a real reaching out into the community to find resources that were not otherwise available. Now, I know those resources are probably available in other parts too. I understand civilization does exist in Placer County or Madera or Merced or Fresno, but I'm here, and so is the Human Resource Center. So if you have places that you know that do the same kind of thing, give me that information so that I can contact those people and maybe make arrangements at some point for other people to get to go visit there. Now, the alternate assignment, do not mistake the complexity of that assignment. And I already have had a couple turned in, and I'm going to call you and tell you that you have the opportunity to redo it before it's due next week, because you didn't read the directions well. And you have to remember the basic rule of psychosocial rehabilitation. And if you don't, you're going to get the assignment wrong. So you can call me, you can talk to me, you can do whatever you want. But go back and look at that again, and do not just take it at face value. Just a hint, it's a 5-point assignment, it's 5% of your grade. So take it seriously and make it interesting. And if I have to read it, I really like it when it's interesting. And sometimes I've had people who put in little comments to see if I read it, to see if I did. And sometimes it's kind of fun to search for those from those of you who have my kind of sense of humor. Anyway, I'm available. Call me if you need to talk about it. I'm enjoying your discussions. I really like to see what your ideas and opinions are. And you know that I let you comment to each other, and I don't interfere. Even if I don't agree with you, I don't interfere with that one. Anyway, have a great week, and I'll look forward to those of you who do calling me. Thanks.